Hello and welcome back to Good Game Nation, where we bring you all things TCG. My name is Preston. I'm here with Sam. Say hello.
Hello, it's tier list day. It's one of my favorite days.
Yes, we finally have a full set of set three, so we're gonna go through the leaders and rank them based off of leader effect and their cards that you could play with them. We're gonna incorporate kind of how we feel about the color itself, also. Um, But with that being said, we are doing a giveaway for hitting 500 subscribers. That top link in the description will send you over to Gleam. Do the things, get your entries in. Thank you so much for coming on this journey with us. And let's jump into it.
Let's jump into it.
There's a lot of leaders.
There's a lot of leaders. I don't want to make it a too long of a video, so if we go through it too quickly, just know that we probably have already talked about this in one of the other, tier list videos. So if they are in the avoid category, they're probably going to be very bad. We want you to avoid them. There's meta reasons why these leaders aren't playable. Fun, but these leaders are fun, but they have large butts. Either they do not play well into other decks that are very strong in the meta, they're missing some key cards,
They
or,
got cake.
or
Fun, but big butts.
yeah,
They
just
got the cake.
big butts. Potential. Obviously, these leaders are good. They can win you games, and they have potential to be better.
Yes.
Good. These are good decks in the meta, and best is self-explanatory.
Yes.
Preston,
Mhm.
what is the leader that you would like to talk about first?
I think we could easily put both crocodiles in a void. They're the first two there. I think they're easily just the colors are good. Blue is a good color. Everything else is outmatching it at this point. I think there's going to be only one blue leader that I think is anywhere near decent right now,
Yeah.
and we've been gushing about her for weeks.
I,
But I think the crocodiles are easy. Just let's get them out of the way.
I think that's a fun way to do this. Actually, is if we just do it by blue. I think we could also add Sanji, which is probably the one that's gonna hurt me the most because I
Oh.
definitely like Sanji. I think he has crazy potential. I wish there was a potential but a void category. Maybe I'll make that really quick. Um, but because he has crazy potential, all dual leaders have this potential. Just they get the most access to cards, so they should always be on your radar. But right now in this set in this meta, it's very hard to imagine Sanji being playable. The green set was very bad, especially for Sanji, who doesn't have East Blue, and the blue was a very focused archetype. So Sanji didn't get a lot of stuff to work with this set, and everything else got better. So it's hard to speak proudly for Sanji.
Yeah, and that's a leader that I think we talked a lot about at the beginning of set two. This all dual color leaders, like you said, have potential. They just need supporting cards that do it. And this card does not have enough to stand out, especially in set three, which is ridiculous.
Yep.
If we're sticking on blue, uh, Dovi has shown so much potential in the West, but I still think the East has done nothing with him. Um, I think he's going to be a fun butt. Uh, Super fun deck to play, and he's getting more and more. This set, like you said, blue did not give you warlords, so you're stuck with what you had in set two. And in set two, he wasn't that great either. I think the West might be able to do more with him when we get set two and three, but I think that's kind of the point of that category. But
Yeah, you're right. Again, we talked about it. Blue has a very focused archetype. You could say that for the crocodiles as well. They didn't get any of it. They might get it next set because that one's more crocodile
Alabasta,
theme, more crocodile theme. You'll get more warlords. So maybe we'll see a little bit of Dofi. But like I said, with blue being the set, we could say the same for Avank. You could put blue purple crocodile here as well.
yeah,
It's just blue didn't get enough for the scope of it. They got a lot of draw. I like Soviet King. I like the zero cost, one cost, two draw, two discard two K combo.
yeah.
I can't remember her
Kaya's
name.
good.
Kaya, thank you.
Spongy's Pilaf is good. They got a lot of draw power, and if you can find spots for that in your warlords deck, that might be great.
Right.
I just can't see them doing better than a fun deck that you take to hang out with,
Right.
to get some free promos or some added benefit of getting those promos in your tournaments.
Right. So not adding to the archetype hurts the most, but we could say that with Nami that has the brand new archetype, I think she's in a really good spot. I think she shows a lot of potential at the bare minimum potential, and she's going to be really exciting to play in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah, this deck is what we've been gushing about. Nami is super cool. It brings a new way to win. I think people are going to flock to that idea and just really try for it, which gives it the most potential. And I'm hoping that by the time we get it here in the US and in the West, we have found it and we unlocked it, and Nami's just going to be running your tournaments. We'll see what Japan can give us in that sense, so that we have the opportunity to do that by the time we get it.
Yeah, I very excited for the Nami deck. It's definitely going to be a fun way to play it. I think the lowest it could go is fun, but I think it could absolutely shoot a lot much higher. It might be scratch best.
Yeah,
It really depends on the list. I think deck building for Nami is going to be a lot of fun. So really excited to see those lists come out in the
right,
next few weeks. Very very exciting for Blue in the scope of Nami.
right.
Color. What color is next? Do we go right into red?
Yeah, we go into red. We'll have something more positive to talk about in red, right?
Ooh, red. Uda. Oh no!
Fair.
Let me just put her there. Just don't play Uda.
That's fair.
But you could play Ace. Set
Yeah.
3 Ace. I think set 3 Ace is going to be pretty exciting. I'm going to stick him in the potential tier. Um, there's going to be more event cards in the next set, but they have many searchers. The dot on mechanic's going to run wild for Ace. I think there's a lot here for him. Whitebeard also got ISO. There's a lot
Mhm.
of things. I'm excited for Ace. I think that he might have a shot.
Yeah, I think his stage searches event cards.
It does.
So that can't be, it's a one cost to play and then a two cost uh rested to activate, and then you get to find an event card. And his event cards are great. He can discard them for extra power on on any attack against him, or offensive or defensively. Best way to put that. So he definitely has the potential with the right pilot, the right build, to excel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Red Green Luffy can go and avoid. Just move that Luffy there. Super easy. um, I think if we were getting more of the supernovas, he would rise because he's going to restand supernovas. But he's definitely not the best red green leader. Um, and then regular red Luffy, I think is just fun, but you don't have the potential anymore. We didn't get Straw Hats this set in red, so you're losing momentum. The best Luffy deck you could probably play is a Zoro deck, and Zoro's better, in my opinion. Um,
Yeah. That's
fun.
the And that's the thing, right? Every set's gonna be focusing on an archetype, and these leaders might not be benefiting from it. Like we could probably put Garp in a void as well. Again, same thing with Sanji. They got Black got a lot of exciting cards.
Mhm.
Red was a very focused archetype, so I don't think there's enough to really pull from there. But they should always be on your radar. All these dual color leaders.
Yep.
And like we said for Zoro, I think. I think Zoro probably starts off in good, right?
Yeah.
I think Zoro is very comfortable. People are going to be, it's going to be a strong deck either way. But I think it didn't add anything, right? It added very focused cards for Ace and Whitebeard. And I think he's going to slowly trend down. It might take a while. It might take a couple weeks, maybe to a month, where he fully phases out. But then again, we said that before.
Yeah, and the thing is, he's giving 1K power to all of his characters. Right now, we're playing a very early centric Zoro deck, and it's very hot and flashy, lots of one drops, uh, so that you can just overpower with field presence. Uh, but it's red, so you could play Whitebeard Pirates, and they get his boost. You could play Straw Hats and Whitebeards. You could play basically the Straw Hat or the Whitebeard deck with him giving your guys an extra boost. It's better as Whitebeard. Definitely better as Whitebeard. But like you have options with Zoro. and you could probably still play that low cost, very aggressive build and beat Whitebeard sometimes.
Yeah.
So you have the potential. Um, and it could be a best deck if someone played it perfectly.
Right.
But there's definitely decks that are better.
I think it's we walked over. It's a very universal effect. It's not catered to a specific archetype, but since the leaders are benefiting from specific things like Ace and Whitebeard, it's
Yeah.
hard to ignore that when Zoro hasn't got anything focused on him. But again, it's a good leader effect. He's in good.
Yeah, definitely a good leader. We only have two reds left, I think, if I'm looking at it
Ooh,
correctly.
that's true.
And I believe they're both S tier best decks. As you'll see, I don't know when we're releasing this video, but the championship series finished up over the weekend, and Edward Newgate ran the show, getting first and second. So he's definitely starting off as the best deck, and looking at the build, I don't. There's going to be small iterations here and there, but it's definitely disgusting right now, and I think it has the potential to stay disgusting for the whole format. Um,
Yeah.
and it just depends on how little things, little promos, little like the side decks that are coming out, the two small starter decks for
Hmm.
black and yellow, how that will affect the meta
Yep.
between this whole set.
Yep.
Um, I think the other best and S tier leader is our last red, and that's Law. Law's always gonna be incredible, and we've seen it, especially in the West for set one. He started out strong. In the East, it gained a lot of steam in set two, and since it can play anything, it's like Zoro, but even more potential because it can play any two colors or any two. How do I put it? It plays the two best colors. So as long as green is good and red is good, this leader is going to be good. So it could play set two stuff, and I think still beats all of the set three green stuff. I think
Yeah.
that's a very wordy way of saying I like Law.
Yeah, it's hard to top that. What I'll add is Whitebeard was already a top five leader last set. He didn't go away. He might not have gotten a large win. I think he might have gotten one,
Yeah.
but he was always relevant. He was always showing in large quantities. So what we did was we added a searcher that it didn't have from the previous set, and then it got an SR in Marco, and then it got a lot of Whitebeard support. Maybe we're not playing all of it, but it continued to build on an archetype that was already good. So it's not a
Yeah.
shocker that Whitebeard belongs here. And I agree with you. I don't think he's going to move. I think this white guy is going to be a large quantity throughout the meta. I think there's going to be a less diversity with that. And
Yeah.
Law, I don't think we're going to see any Law. I think Law is going to be very quiet this first couple weeks. But once we find that list that we always find,
Mhm.
I imagine he'll be right here. He'll probably
Yeah. Last month and a half for sure.
yeah, and until he doesn't win a large tournament, I'm gonna leave him here. That's just how I feel about Law. He's too good.
Absolutely.
Great neutral effect. The dot on mechanic and engine works so well with his leader. So it's hard to imagine him dripping off too far.
Yeah. And they got a few events in green that they can use.
Yeah.
I can't remember all of the red events if they all say Whitebeard Pirates or Ace, but if any of them are vague enough that you can play them, all of the events were really good. So if
Yeah.
you can play them in Law, people will. Do you
Absolutely.
want to move on to our favorite color, purple?
Ooh, purple. Let me just. I can do this really quick. No, there's purple. Didn't get anything good for them. Purple has had three sets with three different archetypes. We haven't built on anything concrete, so it's very hard for purple. And I feel bad for the purple players because I know they wanted this. But I will say, it's very hard to move Kaido away from anything lower than potential. Their mechanic and their roots and from the starter deck in set one are so strong.
Hmm.
And destruction will always be a high prioritize in card games.
Hmm.
And they have a lot of speed options. So it's Kaido will still be around. I think the potential will go down probably because I don't think we're getting much support for them anytime soon. But until something can completely shut them away, I think he'll probably stay around this mid tier level.
Hmm. I agree. Kaido has a good leader effect that's great for ending games. It has a decent surrounding of good character cards, and it has a Onigashima, which isn't what I can say for Iceberg. Um, it has something similar with a stage that can ramp for it, but it didn't get enough. We ended up doing a little bit on Jailer Beast. We ended up kind of half-assing the Water 7 stuff. It got a searcher, which we kind of like rant about with Whitebeard having a searcher now, but it's not there, and it really stinks because I saw so much excitement and I wanted to play this leader. And when you do play it, it's going to be fun, but you're probably going to lose.
And that's where he goes. And if we look at what's at the top, these leaders have had multiple sets that have boosted them
Mhm.
and have left them in good positions. All the leaders that are lower have only had one set. So,
Yeah.
I think there's that trend. And the ones that surpass it, I think, are the dual color leaders. They'll always have a little more. And I
Hmm.
think for purple, I think the most potential for purple right now is probably going to come out of Z. I think Z for me and probably a lot of Western players see so much in this guy, and Black got amazing cards in this set.
Hmm.
Amazing. There's like 5 or 6 that are just really good. Purple, not so much, but they had a lot of utility in the first set. You could play queens, you could play ultis, you have a lot of 2K combo options. And those black cards are very, very strong. So I really like the potential out of Z again going into set 3. I think there's a lot there, and hopefully we'll see it.
Yeah, the 8 drop 9K Aisho or Fujitora is disgusting. If you're seeing a black deck, you're going to be worried that you're going to get cards knocked out of your hand, which is terrible to happen because you need decent sized hands for counting at the end of the game. So they're going to be pulling 2 cards out of your hand. They got a decent at best with brand new Searcher. Um, Khalifa's good.
Khalifa's very
All
good.
of set two's black is powerful with the admirals.
Hmm. They're
Borsalino,
getting a theme deck in a couple
both
weeks.
Kuzans. Yeah, and you're gonna get more stuff with the Luffy black theme deck.
Hmm.
High potential with that.
Yep, yep.
Speaking of black leaders with potential, no, none of them.
Smoker is fun. Smoker is I don't know. I know it. I feel like Smoker was the best shot for Black in the first set, but
Yeah.
it just missed, right, because of the speed. It didn't have the speed. It lacked a searcher. It lacked card draw. It lacked all these things, but we got brand new. We have a CP9 searcher. If we're playing that, we have Spandom.
Yeah.
So I think it's fun, but I still think it's just. I think there's black leaders that are better.
Yeah, for sure. Black leaders that aren't better is Sakazuki.
That's a fun one.
Uh, I didn't see hardly any less playing Sakazuki leader in set two. I doubt we'll see very many in set three. Its cost is too high. Um,
That's the only reason. Its cost is too high. It's literally the only reason.
um, do you want to do Big Mom or Lucci?
So again, these dual color leaders, they're going to have amazing potential going into set, especially when they're being focused. Yellow got a theme deck, yeah, and the deck, and they're getting another theme deck, and so is Black in a couple weeks.
Mhm.
That puts Big Mom way on the radar. I think Yellow lacks a lot of power. I think they're missing a lot of 2K specifically, but Black has a ton, and all of them are very good. Sengoku, Garp, Khalifa,
Mhm.
the Tashigi. There's so many good 2Ks coming out of Black that I think this deck has strong potential, and their end game is ferocious. You could play Aisho, you could play Katakuri, you have your run at 10 drops. And your early game can be either be CP9, Kaku spam, or it could be trigger spam. I think the Kaku CP9 might be slightly better, but again, potential. And if there's early game in one of those two theme decks, way on the radar. I'm very excited for the Black Yellow Charlotte Linland deck. I think it has a lot of potential, and I think we could easily see it in good.
Yeah, it definitely does. I have nothing to add to that. Um, the last black leader is Lucci. I think he also has potential. For the same reason that Zed is good and Big Mom Black Yellow is good. The black cards are good. The admirals are good. They have two searchers now that they could use. Whether they're good or not, we'll have to see. So, and there's hype behind him. He's probably the best black leader by far, and able to use that effect correctly is what's going to make him different. Um,
Yeah, I think I agree. I think it's not a ability that we spam. I think it's something we use very, very, very specifically. I think he has a really nice matchup into Whitebeard. I think there is some just matchup potentials here for Lucci that offers him a higher seat than the other two leaders. And being at 5 life is a wonderful advantage. And the CP9 stuff might be lacking, but I think Black was missing an early game. So maybe this offers a little bit of wiggle room that can maybe match with decks like Whitebeard, Law, Zoro, Kinemon,
yeah.
the ones that were just running early set 2.
Hmm. Speaking of Kinemon, how do you have him in this set? Is he avoidable at this point, or are you still seeing him succeeding with all of the adversity that is coming towards low-powered characters?
So I don't think he belongs at potential, right? Because we didn't see any Wano green,
Hmm.
which absolutely hurts Kinemon.
Hmm.
Um, and it's also hard imagining it disappearing. So I'm gonna put him in good, but it
Hmm.
has the same tag as Zoro. I think it'll be very strong early. I think we'll see it for 2 weeks, maybe a month longer. But I think there's gonna be a change where we see less of these two leaders and more of Lucci and Nami and Ace. Just because I think Kinemon, the speed is not as valuable when Whitebeard is dropping these bombs. So I think, and then the Marco kill, I think just offers so much counter into Kinemon. I think matchup specifically hurts Kinemon, I think, the most. So I think he's good. I think Kinemon offers horrible matchups to all the fun decks and avoid, but I think it's going to do slightly worse against the better decks. So that's just my
It's
early look.
it's a good point to make is if any of these potentials move up, Zoro and Kinemon are moving down. So if any of these potentials actually succeed, those two good decks are going to be swapped out with any of the those potentials. Because if the potentials are doing well, these are not going to be doing well. They're decent enough counters with
Right.
their play styles to push these out. I'm surprised Black didn't do better against them last set because they're minusing so much that if you're able to minus enough, on average, your character cost in green and red are low. So you should be just taking them out anyways. And I think with the support they got in this set, it should push them through the roof. Um, we're down to green and yellow. We're on Kuro. You just move Kuro. You know where he goes. No reason in discussing Kuro. I don't think he's a good leader. The better version is Kid. I don't think you play Kuro just to get that East Blue. I think you play Arlong to get that East Blue. Um, and yeah, Kuro's bad. Uh, you had Kid in hand a second ago. Where do you put Kid?
Oh, he's definitely better than the avoid decks. I think he probably absolutely murders all these avoid decks and these fun decks. He probably has a really good matchup into these potential decks and the good decks, but I don't think he contests the best decks at all. Usually when you play Kid, it's usually not a very fun deck. You know what you're doing when you play Kid, and I think people have also accepted this matchup and they know what they're going to see. They didn't get anything new, so it's a very predictable deck. And I think that's its biggest weakness.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'd call it fun, but it definitely doesn't belong in a void or potential. So he belongs somewhere right here in the middle of the meta. Still a very good leader effect. Easily can win games. I think it just didn't get anything when the other decks did. So the biggest minor
Absolutely.
there. The next one for sure I want to talk about is Arlong. You definitely touched on him. I'm going to put him in
Mm-hmm.
potential. For me, when I look at all the deck building, I think Arlong is the most fun. I think there is so much you could pull out of that yellow trigger stuff. Looking at Crocker, looking at Smoothie. If you want to go the big mom route and you want to play the Prometheus, you can do that. I think I like the cracker smoothie with a little bit of the East Blue mechanic.
Mhm.
Very good late game in yellow. Very, very crazy good early game in green. You could go Wano, you could go East Blue, you could go Supernovas if you really wanted to. I think you have a lot of potential because of how good green has been, and yellow offers a much better late game than green does. So I think there's a lot of potential here in Arlong, and I really hope we see this guy. He's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and the Yamato deck's gonna add more Wano. So a green yellow Wano Arlong is super
Ooh.
funny. I want to see it. Even if
Uh,
it's bad, I'm gonna build it just to see if it's good enough just to play more Wano stuff. The Odin that they've already shown that you can
Kawamatsu has
see in the
trigger.
news. Ridiculous. So that leader goes up into potential definitely for that. Speaking of Odin, I think you're going to have a lot of fun with this leader, but I don't think you're going to be winning a lot of games. I think that's like from the very beginning, this leader's good. I think the fact that Kinemon rose up faster than him after being available for a full set shows that this leader isn't gonna succeed really. It's fun, but it's
Again,
all
same thing with Kid. They're very good. I think they pose very strong matchups into all the potential decks. I think Odin does well in some of these good decks. They got two sets. There's two sets of Wano, so they have a lot of cards to pull from. But again, going against these best decks, Odin just gets just stomped. And if we're expecting Kinemon to go down, that means Odin's going to go down right with them. So next time we do this tier list, I'm imagining Odin's going to be in a void. So this might be the last fun set to play Odin. So unfortunate, but have fun. This might be his farewell song.
it's just Spellware Tour, yeah.
Hard boiled. Yeesh.
Uh,
Then yellow.
Yellow.
I think yellow is suffering from one major weakness, and that is it has one set.
Yeah.
It was same thing with black. We really liked a lot of the cards. Same because we saw Kuzan and we have Katakuri this time. There's some things that are very exciting. But with one set, it's very hard to do a lot. I think the biggest weakness is they don't have a lot of 2K combos, and if the 2K combos they have, they're questionable. The Sanji is a very good 2K combo, but the other two, you're gonna have to play them, and that doesn't feel very good. In the other decks, when you play 2K combos, they're usually playable cards, especially in black, where some of the better cards are 2K combos. But for yellow, that might not be the case. You're playing 12 max. 12 is the max you have until the theme deck comes out. And then we might have to readjust this.
Yeah, and the problem is like you're saying the other colors have playable 2K counters that in a pinch you could actually use. In a pinch, you don't want to use those. You're holding them for counter. That means you have a defensive mindset and you're not playing to win,
Yeah.
and that's not great. And I think that makes Katakuri somewhere near the middle. I think it is the better yellow leader for sure. Mono yellow Katakuri, much better than any of the other mono yellow stuff that we have. But we need more. I think it can grow more if the next set has Big Mom Pirates. But if they drop Big Mom Pirates and Alabasta and Desrosa, that sucks. So I kind of want to see it carry over and not fully fall out because it's going to end up being purple again. And I want the colors to feel more equal. I want the list to be all potential, but the game's made just not made that way right now. So
Right. The archetypes are boosting, something specific in the manga or in the games or whatever they're promoting. So we're gonna get different archetypes here and there.
yeah,
Yellow has a lot of good cards, so they're definitely on, or they should be on your radar. The Katakuri Secret Rare is a very, 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 very good card. The 10 drop Big Mom is very good. I think there's a lot of good cards mixed up in between, but we just need more. There's going to be two theme decks that are come out. We might have to readjust this. But for now, I think the best yellow decks are the ones that share colors with very good established colors in green yellow and black yellow.
absolutely.
And
Is there anything you would move?
Oh,
Like,
absolutely. Oh, I hope I'm moving this. I want to see Zoro and Kinemon kind of just fall away, and I just want to see these guys so bad, like all of them, honestly. Um, like I think that's honestly the trend we're heading towards. I think these leaders are just a little hard to play because they're new, two, the lists are still very fresh, and Whitebeard is such a problem.
mhm.
Whitebeard is 2 sets in now, and he's going to be such a force in this set. So it's between which of these guys have better matchups. And I like Lucci. I think Lucci has a lot of good options here. And I think Nami just offers a lot of different and struggling mental contests. I think you have to play just a lot different into Nami. So I think these two offer a lot. I think when you think about the potentials, and I like Ace. So I hope these guys we make it in soon.
Yeah, I think this is a great place to leave it too. We expect our good decks from set two to drop. I think that's great to put them down in potential in a final spot. They are good. They do have potential to stay good, but most likely are moving down if they are not getting more support. Our new archetypes, I think, have the potential to move to good, and if anything is happening, those three are our options. So I think this is a great way to very interesting like linear curve going down towards not linear curve going down towards avoidable, and that avoidable list will get bigger next
Oh,
set.
it's gonna be fat. Oh, it's gonna be fat.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's a tier list. We did the tier list video.
That's a tier list. We did it. Thank you
Yeah.
for watching. This was a sitcom in some, so thank you for hanging in there. Ah, you like that one? I saw
It
it.
clicked in.
Uh,
It clicked in. It's so funny.
so thank you for hanging in there if you got to the end. If you skipped here, hey, thank you for showing up either way. We see you. We love you. Uh,
You love them.
I do. I love making YouTube videos with you.
It's
This
fun.
is great. I like having people come and enjoy this content with us. So thank you all for being here. Hit that Gleam link. That's how we're showing you that we love you, giving you some free stuff. Uh, and until next time, peace.
Bye bye.
Nami.
Oh man, I would do anything for Magellan to be good. I'm gonna be honest. I would do anything. They did my boy so dirty.
Uh, yeah, that's fair. He just spent too much time on the toilet is the problem.
Now he's actual shit. That sucks.